Hello and welcome to Forex London Session live stream. So first of all, today is Friday, the last day of the week, and if we look at news, there is high volatile news event for US dollar in New York session, and they are looking at weaker numbers, weaker US dollar, but we will look to see if we can find some trades at that point. For now, we will just redo our analysis in gold and in GBP JPY. All right, let's do analysis for gold first. We will remove everything first of all. And yeah, here we go. If we look at monthly candle, the previous monthly candle rejected from 1680 area and closed back inside the range. So we are not sure of this week if it is a rejection to for gold to potentially continue pushing up, or if we will create an upper wick on this monthly candle and we will fill this wick. So we are unsure at this point, and this monthly candle is only 5 days old. We created a lower wick and continued pushing up. We have moved around 300 pips in buy direction. If we go to weekly time frame, today is the last day of the week. We are moving up for the entire week, although there were two bigger retracement days on Tuesday and Wednesday, but still the overall trend is bullish, and we have a support at 1706 area and a resistance at 1873 area, also a resistance at 1813, just by looking at weekly time frame. If we go to daily time frame, we can see that on Monday we moved up, on Tuesday we moved down, Wednesday we moved up, and Thursday there was a big move up of around 300 pips. And today is Friday, the last day of the week, so we are looking to see if we will continue pushing up. If we continue pushing up, there is a resistance at 1803 area, or uh, we will correct this entire move on NFP. So we are looking for confirmations, and just by looking at daily, it makes sense. The previous daily candle was very strong bullish candle. It makes sense for current daily candle to create a lower wick first and then continue pushing up, but we are open to both scenarios. We are also looking for shorts and we are also looking for buys. If we go to H4 time frame, we can see that we have a support at 1760 area. We have another zone at 1772 area, and we have another zone at 1785, and we are creating a fresh resistance at 1794. If we go to H1 time frame, we will readjust these zones. Yeah, so these are the zones. Basically, we need to be very careful in here. For now, we are consolidating in this zone. We will mark this area. We are in consolidation area, which is around 58, 59 pips. We need to break above this area to potentially keep pushing up, or we need to break below 1785 for shorts till 1776. So this is our whole analysis for gold. All right, if we break above 1794 where prices can move, we will look left to see where prices can potentially move if we break above 1794 area. Yeah, right in here we have a 1800. We have a zone at 1800, but we need to be very careful of this zone also at 1798, but this is a weaker zone as compared to 1800. And above that we have another zone at 1804 area. So this is whole range is of about 100 pips. So basically if we break above 1795 area, we can potentially reach 1798 area or 1800 area, and 1800 area is strong zone. Above that zone we have another area at 1804 area. We are looking for buys above 1795 and we are looking for shorts below 1785 area. Yeah, this is our whole analysis for gold. Today is NFP. We may get better execution after NFP. If we look at GBP JPY, just by looking at monthly time frame, the monthly candle has created an upper wick, but it also got rejected from previous weekly candle lows, previous monthly candle lows, and we are just at almost the same point where monthly candle started 5 days ago. So just by looking at monthly candle, we have little to no certainty where prices can move. So if we go to weekly time frame, the previous weekly candle closed bearish. So this was one of my reason why I executed short in GBP JPY yesterday. The previous candle closed bearish. The current weekly candle was creating again upper wick. It was at 163.900 at that point. So in my mind, there was a probability that this weekly candle will flip bearish. That's why I executed short yesterday and it has flipped bearish, but it is also rejecting from 159.500 area, so we don't know just by looking at weekly time frame where prices can potentially move. And today is the last day of the week, so let's see, look at by looking at smaller time frame. In daily we can see that we created a support, we created a resistance, and The previous daily candle closed back inside the range after a huge rejection wick to the upside. Now it makes sense for current daily candle to flip bearish, break below the lows of previous two daily candles and continue pushing down to potentially fill this wick. So let's go to H4 time frame, readjust zones. Yeah, if we break below these wicks, there is probability we will go till 159.500 area, and these are the most recent support and resistances in GBP JPY, and this whole range is around 150 pips. If we get some sort of confirmation and prices start to break above these weak rejections, we can also anticipate buys, but we need more confirmations. All right, if we look at hourly time frame, readjust zones. So for shorts, we are looking for prices to break below 161.200, and then maybe we can anticipate shorts. And for buys, we need to break above the wicks to the left hand, and London session is about to open in 5 minutes. H1 candles are closing. If we look closely at H1 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 H1 candles are closing at same area. So whenever that sort of thing happens, it usually means that we are not interested in moving up, and if we get some sort of confirmation, we may plan our shorts in this area. In this type of scenario, usually market retraces down first, and yeah, so I am waiting for retracement. I am not looking for buyers even if it breaks above this area. We are looking for more confirmations. The H1 candle is about to close in 3 minutes, and it is closing bullish. Let's see how it closes. And if we go to M30 time frame, we are just waiting. Even if it breaks above these wicks, I will just wait for more confirmations and I will not execute buys, because in my opinion there is probability we will go down first, and we will, although there is probability we can move up, but not at this point. So we need to wait. Basically today we need to wait in GBP JPY, and in gold we are also waiting. 1785 and 1794, these are strong H4 zones, and we may see markets struggling to break above or below these zones, and we are in this consolidation which is around 60 pips, waiting for candles to close, and then if we just look at H4 time frame, it basically indicates that trend is heavily bullish. So this consolidation area is basically, I will say that we will break above this consolidation area on NFP and in New York session. So it's just an anticipation. Unless before New York open, we will either consolidate or we will drop to potentially grab liquidity before NFP news so that we can push up at NFP and later in New York session. And if we look at GBP JPY, the overall trend is bearish. I am also looking for shorts, and let's see if we can get to execute some good shorts in GBP JPY. Yeah, we are breaking above this area now. So the hourly candle has closed. The hourly candle has closed that same area. The previous six H1 candles has almost closed that same area. So let's see if we can break above this area to potentially keep pushing up, or we will create some sort of fake out in here to potentially keep pushing down. But our excellent shorts will be below 161.200. This is around 72 pips of consolidation, and let's see how market reacts in this consolidation area. London session today there is less volume. Volume was also less on previous 4 days in London session. JPY we have basically broke above the wicks to the left, but the whole idea is we didn't create a low on this H1 candle, so these buy trades were not valid buy trades. We are waiting for low formation at least in GBP JPY, and basically whenever I execute a trade in first minute of candle closing, it is usually a losing trade. So I believe that volume will appear in New York session, and there is high probability we will get amazing trades in New York session. In London session we are also looking for trades, but just by looking at volume there is less probability that we will get some trade in here. If we look at M15 in GBP we have a lot of wicks in this area. It usually indicates less volume, but we are in London Open. Let's see if volume will kick in the markets. We are just waiting in here. Today it will be a lot of waiting because of high volatile news event in New York session. Waiting in gold and in GJ. If we look at this H4 candle, this H4 candle opened 2 hours ago, and we are just consolidating for those 2 hours. And if we look at previous market structure, this H4 candle just dropped like 270 pips, and the next three H4 candles just consolidate in this 75 pips of range, and then this bullish H4 candle appears out of nowhere. So the whole idea is we need to break below this area for shorts, and for longs I am anticipating prices to break above 162 area to potentially execute buys at least 40-50 pips. But the whole idea is, if we look at H1 time frame, we are consolidating in this 20 pips of range from previous 6 hours. Yeah, so if I am looking for buys, I am basically waiting for candles to break and close above 162 area, or I am waiting for candles to do a deep retracement and then starts to break above this area so that I can execute buys. There are no buys right now, even if the candle closes right in here. Because if we look at H1 candle in more details, the H1 candle don't have a lower wick, and this H1 candle is only 39 minutes old, only 11 minutes old, and 39 minutes left in this candle to close. So there is probability that we have worked on the high and we may potentially drop later on. Afternoon, bro, afternoon. Yeah, we are now creating a lower wick on H1 candle. And even if we break below this area, there are no shorts. We need to wait. The whole idea is these are small body H1 candles which indicates lack of volume. So first of all we need big body candles so that we can execute on and for now in GBP JPY there is nothing, and in gold it is also very risky to execute in here. M15 candle has closed, but still there is no information in M15 candle, and the previous M15 candle although has broken above the highs to left and closed back inside the range. The only information I can interpret at this point is to wait. Basically there is no information that I can read in here. We are just waiting and nothing in both these pairs. Get news. We are just waiting in here. There is nothing at this point. And yes, Alright, we are breaking above the zone in GBP JPY. The candles are about to close in 6 minutes, but still the volume is very low. Let's see how these candles will close. And in gold, waiting makes more sense. We are in this consolidation area. Waiting for this 15-minute candle to see to close to see if we are actually closing above this area at 162.039, and maybe we get to execute a trade on next candle for potential take profit of 33 pips. Alright, M15 candle is about to close. It has closed bullish and above all those areas to left. I will execute buys once this candle creates a lower wick. Waiting for lower wick formation in GBP JPY, and in gold there is nothing. I am waiting for this lower wick on this M15 candle to execute. Other than that, I will not execute on this trade. We are moving up, which means that volume has now come into markets, which is good thing, but we are moving up in first 1 minute of this M15 candle. Just waiting as of now. Yeah, the candle is now flipping bearish. waiting for low formation on this M15 candle and may execute buys above the wick to previous wick, but wait waiting at this point makes more sense. Just wait for 5 more minutes. The lower wick has now successfully formed in my opinion. If now we break above this area, which is around 13 pips away, I will execute my buys for potential TP of 29 to 30 pips. Because in my opinion it could be a fake out for prices to continue pushing down, because if we look at the bigger picture, the bigger picture is still bearish. We have big move down, we have retracement, and now it could be a fake out for prices to potentially keep pushing down later on, but it is just an anticipation. Let's see what happens. If this candle closed above the previous M15 wick and next M15 candle wicks below first, then this trade will also be valid for next 15 minutes. Waiting for this M5 candle to close in around 20 seconds. are about to close in 1 minute, and on next 15-minute candle we may anticipate a trade. I have removed my buy stop because I don't want my buy stop to get active in first 1 minute of next M15 candle. Yeah, the candles are closing as we were anticipating. Now waiting for this candle to close and waiting for next M15 candle. Alright, M15 candle has open, and now if we break above the high I will execute by placing a stop of around 15 pips. We look at gold. Gold has again come down. Alright, our trade is now active. Placed a stop loss of 17 pips, and potential take profit is around 22 pips, and we are just ready to manage our trade if it goes against us. At this point I have closed some percentage of my position. Closed another percentage of my position. Closed everything. Lost around 4 US dollar on this trade. We are just waiting. We basically did a thing that I was afraid of. I was afraid of the fact that we may do a fake out in this area, and that's happening in my opinion. But we are waiting for current M15 candle to close. We managed our risk. I closed everything in just 3 pips of loss, and this is 3 pips of loss. If I held my trade, I will be in the loss around 9 pips or 10 US dollar. So I am pretty much okay with that. Now we are waiting for candles to close. All right, candles are about to close in 2 minutes, and the whole idea is in gold. If we look at H1 candles, they have small body candles, but there are bigger wicks. It means lack of volume. So in gold, I will just stay away from gold, and in GBP JPY I am looking for a trade. If we break below 161.800 area with volume, I may execute a trade. Other than that, my trading session is over. I will see you guys in New York session. Yeah, this move down was expected. The whole idea is H1 candle is still bullish. Waiting for these candles to close. Yeah, we are breaking below all these lows in first less than 1 minute, which is a good thing, because we may get to execute short position below this area, but we are dropping in just 1 minute. So we are waiting for this candle to close, and let's see how this candle will close, and we may get to execute a trade in short later on. There is no way I could have captured this down move, which is around 23 pips, because it was too fast. I am planning my shorts below this wick on next M15 candle. I am only waiting in GBP for next M15 candle to potentially execute a short position. We are just waiting. Alright, in gold we are breaking below the area, but in first 8 minutes of this H1 candle also don't have an upper wick, and yeah, there is probability that we will continue pushing down till 1785, but we will stick to our trade in GBP JPY. I am waiting for next 15-minute candle to wick up first, then starts to break below the low to execute my sell position. Gold is moving down. I was anticipating this move, but the whole idea is there were little to no confirmations for short in gold, and yes, waiting for 3 more minutes. Just waiting for these candles to close. M15 candle has now closed, but the whole idea is we have this rejection wick. Alright, although we have a rejection wick, we will wait for one more candle. And in gold, we can keep pushing down till 1785, around 27 pips. was my anticipation that we will continue pushing down, but the whole idea is this M15 candle don't have an upper wick. Also, the previous M15 candle closed with a rejection, so that's why I didn't execute it on this trade, but I hope so I will be able to execute on it in next 13 minutes. By looking at gold, we are just moving down. Alright, the move we were anticipating has occurred. It gave us no chance to execute on it. Nothing in gold and in GBP JPY, and at this point we will just call it a day. We will come back in New York session. We will try to find a trade. Other than that, we will just wait. Alright, I will wait for 6 more minutes. Gold is pushing down with all its strength. JPY candles are closing with the rejection wicks. So let's see if we can get some trades in GBP JPY, but for now we are waiting. M30 candle has closed. M30 candle has closed a bearish candle in GBP/JPY. If we get some sort of confirmation in here, we will execute a short for this wick fill of around 20 pips. And in the gold, we are waiting. I am waiting in GBP/JPY if current 15-minute candle creates a high. creates an upper wick. I will execute on next 15-minute candle. By looking at M30, there is probability we will continue pushing down. So I am waiting for prices to create an upper wick on this M15 candle and may execute a position on next M15 candle. Alright, I have executed a short trade based on M30 time frame because in my view we have already created a high in M30 time frame. There is probability we will keep dropping till this area 161.500 area. So I have executed sell position. and let's see what will happen. Now we need to wait for probably 20 more minutes. Alright, trade is 7-8 pips in profit at this point. We are up around 10 pips. At this point, I will place stop loss at break even. I will close some percentage of my position at this wick around at 16 pips and let the rest run for complete take profit. Candle has closed. I have closed my sum of position and I will let the rest of position to run and I will lower my take profit to around this area. I will close some percentage at 161.600, 161.500 area. Other than that, I will let this run. I have increased the potential take profit on my trade because I believe that the higher time frame trend is bearish and there is probability for prices to keep pushing down. I will close some percentage right in here and let the runners run, and yeah. Also 12 minutes left in this H1 candle to close. Candles are about to close in 5 minutes. We are creating a wicks in 5 minutes in GBP JPY, and in gold I may get a continuation pattern for potential shorts below this area for at least 33 pips of trade, but we are waiting. If we break below the low on the second half of next 30-minute candle, there will be probability that we will keep pushing down at least 33 pips. I may execute on that trade, but provided that my conditions are fulfilled by market. In 3 minutes, this M30 candle will close. This trade was executed based on M30 time frame. There was wick to the left, and it was there was probability that we will do a wick fill, and I closed 50% of my position at wick fill. And basically, when we created a high on the M15 time frame, I executed a trade, and it went in straight profits, not even a 1 pip of drawdown. If we look at gold in H1 time frame, the overall trend is bullish, and this candle has broken below this area, below this zone at 1789 area. The same thing that happened in GBP JPY, but in opposite direction. If we look at H1, if you look closely, previous 6 candles closed at almost the same area. Then we broke above that area, closed back inside the range, and on next candle we continued pushing down. If we look at gold, basically previous 3 candles are rejected from this area, and this candle broke below the low. So there is, but just by looking at bigger picture, we know that the higher time frame trend is bullish. So maybe we can get the same trade in buys above this area, but at this point we are just waiting. All right, H1 candle has closed. If we look at GBP JPY, H1 candle has closed with a very small wick to the downside, and there is probability that on current H1 candle we will create a high first and then continue pushing down. And yeah, at this point I have closed another 50% of my position, and still there is probability we will keep pushing down almost 30 more pips, and my potential take profit at that point will be 13 US dollars. So I am basically playing with the profits that I made, and yeah, we will now wait. In gold, if we start to break below this low on the second half of this 30-minute candle, on next 15-minute candle, I may execute a short position. It was the same short position right in here. This trade is based on will be based on continuation pattern. The continuation pattern occurred yesterday in buys in gold right in here. So I am anticipating this sort of move today in gold, but for shorts. So we need to wait for 15 more minutes to potentially execute a short position in gold. We look at GBP JPY, some sort of retracement it is due at this point, or we may start consolidating in here because we are approaching a potential zone, but this zone is a weak zone because it is an M30 zone. So we will see if we will break below and continue pushing down, or we will just consolidate in here. We will basically take that data into account. We will place that observation in mind, and on next trade we may be able to do some pretty good close on this sort of trade. For now we need to wait to see how prices in GBP JPY basically reacts. And in the gold, this M15 candle is 13 minutes old, and it seems like we have created a high, but we need to just wait for a few more minutes, and we will then see what to do about it. Yeah, basically it was a very good decision to hold this trade, which is now in 43 pips profit. And I basically made a huge sum on this trade, and my potential take profit is around 13 US dollar. Trade is now in 10 US dollar profit, so I am planning to basically close this trade. I will place my stop loss above this candle, and yeah, we'll wait. And by looking at gold, we are waiting for one or two M30 candles if we are to execute on continuation pattern. But the whole problem is we have high volatile news event for US dollar and for gold in few hours from now, so maybe we don't get an execution pattern, because I have seen before those big news, we usually consolidate. So maybe we starts consolidating in here. But regardless of those facts, I will execute provided if I find something as per my patterns. M15 candles are about to close. We in M5 we are just consolidating in gold, and in GBP JPY we are pushing down. This is a big body candle. Whenever this sort of big body candle appears outside of news event, it usually means that the trend is almost exhausting. Most of time market will just consolidate or reverse from whenever this sort of candle forms. And in gold we are waiting. Let's see if we can break below this low. M15 candle has closed. If we look at GBP JPY, M15 candle has closed a strong bearish candle. At this point, at 48 pips, I have closed everything in GBP JPY, secured 50 pips for first time on this account, and we are up around 1.32% on my account. And if we look at our past losses, starting from 28th of July, we are only $6 in loss now, and 10 US dollar in loss. Law uh, we have made profit of almost $5, and we have lost $16 to commissions, and we are $10 down overall, which is not a big deal in my opinion, because I believe that in future we will not only be able to cover these losses, but also we can make some profits. Basically, this GBP JPY trade put us in huge profits. We made around $20 on this trade. And if you look at my yesterday live stream, while I was showing you my account history, I was down around $46, which was around 3 to 4% on my account. And in London session, New York session, I made some profits, and today I made some profits, and we are only down about $10. If we look at the performance of current week, we are in small profit. So this week is nearly at break even, but we will also execute on New York session, but I will not execute on news candles specifically, But once that news candle is closed, I will do an execution by looking at market structure, and we will see if we can find some good trade. In gold, there is probability that we will continue pushing down once we break below 1785 area, and but it will we need to wait for at least this candle to break below the low. If it doesn't break below the low, we want it to close, and on next 30-minute candle, if we starts to break below the low, that will be our execution to potentially secure 30 pips from this trade. And but we have a high volatile news event in 2 hours and 10 minutes from now, and so maybe we just consolidate until that news event in gold. So that's why I will just wait, and I will come back basically at New York Session live stream. Until then, take care, and thanks DanFX for your nice comments. I will see you guys later today in New York Session on live NFP streaming. For now, take care, have fun, and we'll see you in New York Session.